Good morning or afternoon or evening, depending on where you are, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar on Easier Link Management with Rebrandly's MCP. I'm Stephanie Yoder. I'm the Director of Content at Rebrandly, and I'll be moderating today. So thank you so much for joining us. We're really excited to show you what's possible with our MCP. And we had over 150 people sign up for this webinar, so I think it's fair to say you're also eager to learn about this. First, a few housekeeping notes. Everyone is muted and off camera except for us, so feel free to get comfortable. We are recording this session and we'll send the recording along with some resources to everyone who registered within about 24 hours. We have roughly 30 minutes of presentation and 10 to 15 minutes for Q&A at the end. If you have questions, please put them in the Q&A feature. And we'll address as many of them as we can. So now let me introduce our speakers today. We have Carlissa Ablay, who's our Senior Product Manager, and Edward Capino, our Product Manager and Tech Lead. And together they've been instrumental in bringing the Rebrandly MCP to life. So first, Carlissa is going to walk us through exactly how an MCP can make link management simpler. And then Edward will show us how to install it and get started. So Carlissa, I will hand over to you.
Yeah, thank you for the intro, Stephanie. Hi, everyone. Super excited to speak with you today. As Stephanie mentioned, we do have a bit of an agenda. So first things first, we're going to exactly show you what an MCP is and why it matters to your workflow. Then we'll show you how the Rebrandly's MCP works, walk through some real world use cases that'll make you wonder how you've ever lived without MCPs before. And of course, the part everyone is most excited for, we're going to do a live demo. We'll wrap up with Q&A where you can ask us anything as well. So feel free to type your questions in the chat along the way. We'll answer them async, but we will have a more formal, like 10-15 minute session at the end to answer any questions too. Sounds good? All right, let's go. So first things first, I'm going to be honest for a second. How many of you have felt this pain? You're in the middle of drafting an email, you're writing a social post or building a campaign, and you need to create a branded link. So, what do? You stop what you're doing, you open a new tab, you log into Rebrandly, you navigate through the dashboard, you create your link, you copy it, you head back to where you were working, and then by then, you've completely lost your train of thought. We call this context switching, and it's a massive productivity killer. Studies show that it can take up to 23 minutes to fully refocus after an interruption. And here's the thing, it's not just happening once a day. If you're a marketer, a content creator, or anyone managing multiple campaigns, you might be doing this dozens of times a week. And those minutes add up to hours of lost productivity. We knew there had to be a better way. So here's where things get exciting. Enter the Model Context Protocol, or MCP for short. Now, I know this sounds technical, but stay with me. It's actually surprisingly simple. Think of an MCP as basically a universal translator that lets AI assistants like Claude or ChatGPT talk directly to your favorite tools, including Rebrandly. So instead of you having to switch between apps, the AI does the heavy lifting for you right where you're already working. Here's what makes this powerful. MCPs can work with multiple services at once. See the logos on the screen. Claude or ChatGPT can connect to Rebrandly, Cursor, Notion, Gemini, and many more all at the same time. Imagine being able to say, create a branded link for my new blog post and add it to my Notion calendar and having that happen automatically. That is the power of MCPs. It's essentially creating this ecosystem where all of your tools work together seamlessly through natural conversation with AI. Pretty amazing, right? So, what can you actually do with the Rebrandly MCP? I'm so glad you asked, everyone. That's a great question. So, first things first, you can create branded links instantly. You describe what you need, and then boom, you've got your link. The second, you can update links on the fly. You need to change where a link points. All you have to do is tell AI. The third, you can search and retrieve link information. You can ask questions like, hey, what was that link I created last week for the webinar? Done. AI will serve that to you. Four, and like super important, you can get analytics and performance data without having to dig into the Rebrandly dashboard. You can basically say, how's my email campaign link performing that I created and sent a week ago? You'll then get real-time stats. Five, you can also manage your domains and workspaces without ever having to open that dashboard. And here is my favorite part. All of this happens through natural conversation. You don't need to learn any special commands or syntax. You can basically just describe what you want. Claude, ChatGPT, and Rebrandly make that happen for you. It's really that simple. So let me show you this in action in basically a real world scenario. Let's say you're launching a Q1 marketing campaign across email, social media, paid ads. The old way, without the MCP, you'd basically have to spend 15 to 20 minutes creating those three separate links. You'd log into Rebrandly, you'd create the email link with its specific tags, and create the social media link with those specific tags, and then the paid ads links with its own specific tags. Very, very time consuming. And each time you're doing this, you're filling out forms, you're making sure your naming conventions are consistent, you're adding the UTM parameters. It's just so tedious. But with the MCP, you can tell your favorite AI tool of choice, create branded links for my Q1 campaign across email, social, and paid ads. In about 30 seconds, AI creates all three links. It automatically adds the appropriate tags like Q1, email, social, paid. It uses consistent naming conventions and hands you back a nice organized link list of all of your links. So you've saved 14 and a half minutes. And more importantly, you've maintained your momentum and didn't lose the focus on the bigger picture of your campaign strategy. That is the kind of efficiency we're talking about. So let's talk about the core benefits you'll experience with our MCP. Again, you'll save time. This is the most obvious one, but it's huge. We're talking about reducing link management from minutes to literal seconds. Over the course of a week, a month, a year, those are hours saved, like hours of really saved time. It's amazing. Next, it lets you stay focused. There's no more context switching. It means you keep your creative momentum. When you're in the zone, you stay in the zone. Your brain will thank you for this. Next, you can reduce errors. Here's the one people don't always think about. When you're manually creating links, especially multiple links at the same time, it's easy to make mistakes. You could have the wrong destination URL. You could have typos in your custom slug. Maybe you forget to add a tag. But with natural language processing, Claude, ChatGPT, again, your favorite AI tool of choice, understands your intent and helps ensure consistency and accuracy. And then it increases productivity. When tedious stuff is handed to you, you can focus on what actually matters, the strategy, the creativity, and actually driving results. That's where your value really lies, not in filling out forms and, manually creating all of these links in our platform. So this isn't just about making things faster. It's about making your work life genuinely better. All right, so this is the moment we've all been waiting for. It's time to see the MCP in action. I'm going to hand it over to Edward to walk you through our MCP. I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen. Edward, over
Wow.
to you.
Oh, wow. Really, Carlisa, thank you so much for this amazing introduction. I'm gonna start sharing my screen right now, and I must say that you made me to want installing even more MCPs in general into my computer after this. Like, there is so much value getting out of that, and not only from the Rebrandly one, that I just want to try them all. But let's go to what the Rebrandly MCP can do. And before getting into that, let's see how to basically arrive to have it into our computer. So in order to do this demo, we choose a really easy application, which is Cloud Desktop. Why did we choose that? Because basically it's giving us a really nice and look user interface for showing how the MCP can work. But our MCP can be integrated in really multiple services like Amazon Q or Gemini or any other agent that you are having out there. But this one here looks just better for this demo. So let's go further. We will need basically two things. The first one will be the Cloud Desktop, and I'm going to show you how to install that. But the one that is really important, it's Node.js. Unfortunately, without this one here, we won't be able to use the Rebrandly MCP at its maximum. So just go with me on nodejs.org, And we will have here a green button, which is called Get Node.js. Once you're clicking on it, if you're on Windows or on Mac, you will see here different kind of buttons. Since I'm on Mac, I will have a .package installer. So please just feel free to click on this. It's pretty safe. You are clicking, installing, and going through the whole installation process by yourself. We won't go through all of this installation process right now because we will just waste time. Basically, it's just accept, 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 and just pay attention to not install anything that is not really required for Node.js. And the second thing that we need to install is the Cloud Desktop itself. So let's go and write here, Cloud Desktop application. I'm going to choose the first link here, and it's make sure that it's the official one, please, cloud.com/download. And again, just choose the one that better fits your operating system. Once you're done, we are almost ready to get with to the MCP of Rebrandly. So as you can see here, I'm having already my Cloud Desktop open. So what I'm going to do right now, it's going to be to follow our developers documentation. How to do that? Just go on rebrandly.com, and after that, go on the side navigation or top bar navigation based off your screen size. Under the resources tab, under the developer docs link, and we just added here the MCP server tab. So once you're clicking on this, you'll be able to see here 4 links that are going to explain you how to install and also how to quickly install the MCP. I wanted a quick start, like I don't want to spend some time here. So let's go and see the Cloud Desktop MCP quick installation guide. Well, we need the Cloud Desktop application. We got that. We need the Node.js 20 plus version. We got the latest one. And we need a Rebrandly API key. Well, let's go and take that Rebrandly API key. So I'm already logged in into my dashboard here, but if you didn't, just go on your account and log in. And what I need to do after that is to go on my picture profile here on the right navigation tab, go on the API tab, and under the API tab, you will have a button. It's either new API key, either you will have already an API key installed if you created it already. Since I'm already having it, I'm going to just go here and click copy later on. But let's see what the installation guide is really telling us. So it's telling us to go into the Cloud Desktop. Since I'm having it mid-size open, I'm going to go and open the side nav, going here at the bottom, clicking on the settings, developer thing, and edit config. This is the moment when Cloud will gonna open you a folder on your Mac or on your PC. What we want to do here is to enter and become a little bit technical. It's just for a few moments, don't worry. We're gonna right click on it, open with, and just choose the best text editor you are having installed. And we will open something that is looking like this. Not so nice, right? But if we are going down into our documentation, you're gonna see a copy and paste snippet. So all you need to do is just copy here, pasting here, and now we need to go and copy our API key. Of course, I won't be able to show you my API key because I don't want you to use my resources. So what I'm gonna do will be to go and copy my API key. I'm gonna move a little bit this outside. I'm gonna paste my API key here. And please don't forget to Command S if you are on a Mac, or just Control S if you're on Windows, so you can save your file and close it. Once you close it, we need to make sure that Cloud Desktop, it's really getting the configuration that we just put. So what I'm going to do is quitting Cloud Code. I'm going to make sure that it's completely quit, and then reopen it again. Once we are opening it again, if everything went well, I'm expecting the Rebrandly MCP to be installed. So let's check it out. If I'm clicking on the plus here, I'm going under the connectors. I'm seeing that Rebrandly is active. So we should have Rebrandly in action. And don't worry, if you feel that something went wrong and your installation wasn't successfully completed, we are going to let you a form at the end of the webinar that you can just fill out with your questions and doubts, and we will try to reach out to you to make sure that your installation will work as expected. And let's just dive in. So we are having it open. What can we do for first? I think that the hello word is the most common stuff in the developer industry. So what we were going to do here, it will be a hello short link. So I'm going to ask him, create a short link to rebrandly.com/agencies and just call it MCP webinar into my main workspace. he will probably think a little bit. In order to do that, he will try to create the link. And let's see if he's finding any errors. So as you can see, we got an error. It looks like the MCP webinar is already taken. So also the errors are really spoken, so you can really understand what happens under the hoods. And you can go and maybe ask him, yes, just go proceed with MVC webinar 2. Yes, just proceed with MPC webinar 2. And I hope that the MCP webinar 2 is not taking already. Why this is happening? Because I used the default domain, the rebrand.ly, which is commonly shared by everyone that is using Rebrandly. So what I hope now that is that if I'm copying this link here that he just shared for me, and I'm opening a new tab, it will work. So we are going on rebrandly.com/agencies. And I can also go here on my links page, refreshing the page, and I should see the link appearing on my dashboard. Let's see this together. Well, it took us some seconds. Here is it, also one click. So we are also having the tracking of the link because I just clicked on it. I think this is amazing, but the MCP is not stopping here. I think we can scale a little bit the things and try to go and create more than one link in the same time. What about creating 4 URL links? Or I don't know, let's suppose you're having a CSV or you want to create something like 50 links or 30 links, just go for it. The AI, it's your friend. So I'm gonna go and send this. I wanted to create them into my default workspace, but by using a branded domain this time. So I'm having edwardcapano.online, which is my personal branded domain. And I asked to also tag them with a tag called webinar demo, January 2026. So as you can see, the first thing that he's doing here is to list all the domains that I'm having to make sure that he's able to use that domain. After that, he's going to create all the links. And once he's finishing, he's also going to attach the tags to all the links that he created. And what I'm expecting right now is that if I'm refreshing the page here, since he didn't finish, probably I will just see a couple of them created and a couple of them with the tag attached. But if I'm refreshing again now, I should have everything attached. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and also the tag webinar demo January 2026 attached. I think that this is amazing and unlock tons of possibilities and capabilities out there. But please share in the comments what do you think we can do more? Because I have one more demo to show you before finishing here. So what's exciting me the most, and I hope you also, it's something like this. What about moving all the links tagged Q4 2024 from my marketing workspace to archive? So as Carlisa said before, let's imagine something like you're having a Q4 campaign that just ended and you need to move, I don't know, 15 or 20 links that you had into a dedicated workspace to just another one. In this case, it's the archive one. So before pressing and sending this, I want to just show you how my marketing workspace looks like. As you can see, I'm having here only 3 links that are having some tags. This one here is having a tag Q4 2024 and content. This one here, Q4 and promo. All the others doesn't really have tags, but let's see how he acts when I'm asking him something like this. So currently from the dashboard, the moving links functionality doesn't really exist. So what we did here with the MCP was to create something of a workaround for you. So in fact, since we are not having a moving functionality, the MCP will also ask you, are you really sure that you want to move these links? Because probably it will require permanently deleting all of your analytics, since what we are doing under the hood is deleting the links and just recreating them. But well, as you can see, they are having 0 links in this case, so I just don't care. So yes, let's go for it. Yes, let's go for it. And once I'm sending this, what I'm expecting him to do is to get my confirmation. So as you can see, he's also asking for the confirmation before doing anything. And he will get the link information. He will need to get also the workspace's information, because what you need to make sure is that if a link into a certain workspace have a domain attached, like mine are having rbmcp.news and also edwardcapano.online, you just need to be sure that in the workspace you are moving your links, these domains are also attached. So he will check this for us also. he will look to see if the workspace is already having the domains attached or not. And if not, he will do the job for us, so we don't even need to worry for that. Of course, he will gonna ask you. In this case, I already had them, so he didn't ask me that. But what he's doing is like, oh, okay, both the domains are already attached to the archive. So I'm just gonna continue with deleting and creating everything. And as you can see, he started to do it one by one. In this case, he attached the link, and I believe that he also, yes, deleted and created the one. So what I'm expecting right now is that if I'm going here under the archive workspace, while he's doing the stuff here, we can already see that we're having two that were moved. The third one is still in progress. So once the Claude is doing that, you can just go and do something else and return here in 30 seconds, and you'll see that everything was done for you. I believe that this unlocks us a lot of different scenarios, and I would love to hear more from you. But before that, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and I'm gonna pass it to Stephanie to just wrap up everything for us and give us a better context about what we just saw.
Thank you, Edward. That was fantastic. Super educational. So, Carlos, you want to pull? Yep. Okay. Before we wrap up and head into the Q&A, let me leave you with 4 key takeaways of what we just learned. So first, the MCP makes link management conversational. You talk to it like you talk to a colleague. You don't need to use technical jargon or complicated interfaces. It's just natural language. 2, no technical skills are required and setup takes less than 10 minutes. I can confirm this because I installed it myself. If you can connect your Rebrandly accounts to Claude, you're ready to go. So it's really very frictionless. Third, this works with your existing workflows. You're not learning a new platform or changing how you work. You're just adding more capability to the tools you already use every day. And fourth, you'll save significant time on repetitive tasks. We're talking maybe even hours saved every single week. So we all know work smarter, not harder. All right, so the future of link management isn't about better dashboards or faster interfaces. It's about removing the interface altogether and just getting what you need through conversation. So we have about 15 minutes for Q&A, and I can see we already have some great questions coming in. So the first one here is from Matt, and it says, is the MCP available on free Rebrandly accounts, or do you need to have a paid subscription?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We are offering the Rebrandly MCP to everyone out there. So please go and just try it with any of your subscription. Doesn't matter if it's a free or a paid one. The only limits you're gonna have are the one of your subscription. So of course, if you want to bulk import or, I don't know, moving hundreds of links, your subscription will need to allow to have 100 or 1,000 of links into your account. But apart of that, you are able to use it and try it on every plan that we're offering.
Great, perfect. I'm going to do this other question from Matt next. It says, I know we use Claude as an example here, but for Claude or any other LLM, is using the desktop app required, or can you use the web browser version?
So the web browser version is something that we are still working on right now, because the web browser version is requiring a different kind of version for the authentication in order to work. So what we did right now was to offer the version that it's being installed locally. But by locally installing, I'm not meaning that we are saving any of your data. Like everything will still be managed by your organization and your account. The only difference here is that what we did allows us to build better functionalities, since the MCP world is expanding really quickly. So basically our infrastructure it's allowing us in the next couple of months to just extend as the MCP protocols are extending. And we will also offer the web version probably in the next couple of months.
Very good. Okay, our next question is from Allie, and it says, looking at this like a platform interface, how are you thinking about MCP versioning and backward compatibility as you add new tools? And what major capability areas are you planning to open up next?
So I think that I can still jump and answer to this one also. Basically, you are able to see, all of you are able to see what are the tools that we're offering with our MCP on the developers.rebrandly.com documentation. We currently focus on the entire link and the workspace management, but for now we are just offering the viewing and really not so much of the managing on the teammates and on the domain side. So what we are trying to do in the next couple of weeks and months, it's also to extend our functionalities of the MCP to everything that we can do from the dashboard. Right now, we are not really having everything on the teammates and domains in the MCP. We have all the listing, but not the entire management. It's something that we are still working on. But I believe that this is the most accurate answer, and you can find the whole list of the tools listed on developers.rebrandly.com.
Yeah, and to add to that as well. So, Ali, as we do build out new capabilities in Rebrandly, we do incorporate the MCP into our scope. So, any new feature moving forward, we try to make sure that it's covered by the MCP. That way, when we add capabilities like surprise conversion tracking, don't where that'll come up in like the next couple of quarters. We'll have data for you around conversion tracking, and that will also be incorporated into the MCP, as well as, more analytics that you'll be able to get access to. So we do incorporate the MCP into scope as we build out our roadmaps.
Great. So let me see if I am understanding this question correctly. If I use the web version of, or sorry, if I use the desktop version of Claude, every time I need to install the latest version to make myself on the latest trends, do I need to update Claude's desktop? So I think he's asking, do you need to make sure you're on the latest version of Claude for this to work?
I'm not sure I understand really well the question, but you don't need to really update anything unless you want to do that. So all of the rebranding updates that are coming in doesn't require any manual touch from your side. So all you need to do it once you install it, we will release the updates automatically. So once you have it installed, you will get the latest version of the Rebrandly MCP every time when you're opening your Cloud Desktop application. Of course, if your agent is requiring you to update his CLI, or in this case, his desktop application, you'll probably want to do that just to receive their own new functionalities, but not the Rebrandly ones.
Great. And then another question from Akiv. He says, can you make a tutorial small video and share with all Rebrandly users to make this process more easy? And you are in luck, actually, Akiv, because we have quite a few resources to share with you after this, and we'll be emailing them to you directly. I just want to touch on a couple more questions, though, while we're on questions. So if you still have any more, feel free to drop them in the box. But we have a few frequently asked questions to go over. So the first one from me, Edward, is what if I make a mistake? Could I accidentally delete all of my links if I'm not paying attention?
So short answer, no. When you first install the Rebrandly MCP, all the actions that you are asking him to do, like just create me a link or list my workspaces or just my domains, the MCP will gonna ask you and pop up with a prompt like, always allow me to do these kind of actions or just allow once. For this demo, since I didn't want it to go and click through all the steps, I just clicked allow once before. But once you install the MCP for the first time, every time that the MCP will gonna ask Rebrandly for something, it will ask for your approval. So unless you are clicking allow once for the deletion of all of your links, you should be safe.
Great. Well, that is good to know. Secondly, I was hoping you could talk a little bit about data security. Is my data secure if I'm accessing it via Claude?
Definitely. So with the MCP protocol, we are not gathering your data in no way. And also the agent that you are using, you should just make sure that the agent that you are using, it's having a correct privacy policy. So Based on the AI that you are using, that is Gemini, Claude, or ChatGPT, or whatever this is, may have different kind of policies. We are not depending on their policies. So if you're having, for example, an organizational account on Claude, you should be 100% protected. If you're having a free personal account and you are installing Rebrandly on it, you should try to check their own privacy policies to see what kind of information they are storing, but the Rebrandly information of your account will never be stored. So no personal key, password, account information will be shared with the agent that you are using.
Great. That is good to know. All right, one last question from me. So I know we very briefly touched on some of the features that you mentioned are not available in the dashboard. So like moving links from one workspace to another, but the MCP can still do those things?
Yes, it can. So this was a request that we noticed from our customer support that was managing this request from our clients. And once we are trying to build something similar from our dashboard, we were building the MCP and we were like, okay, but we can basically do that in, I don't know, 2 days of work and providing it right away. So why wouldn't we do that? So we try to create a workaround while the MCP is telling to the customer what really happens under the scenes, so they can approve or not these movements. Since it's not something that it's really 100% supported, the customer will still need to approve what they want to do and be aware of this movement.
Cool. That's great. So if no one has any other questions, I think we can start